Hey guys, I'm here today to talk to you about another review. Today we are reviewing the Heroes of History series from YWAM Publishing. This specific title that we're going to talk about today is Ronald Reagan. So I first discovered this series about a year ago when we got the Clara Barton book to review. And I grabbed the book on my way out the door to the community center and sat on the bench while the kids were climbing the rock wall and started reading it just to see what I thought of the style of book and get my own impression, and I read the entire book in 3 hours. So I was more than excited to have the chance to review these books and share them with you because they're fabulous. And over the last year, we've picked up probably 8 or 10 other titles in the series because we really love them. So before you begin reading the books, I'm going to suggest that you go on the website and you either download or take a look at the entire unit study curriculum. You guys won't use all of it, more than likely. I mean, you could probably, but we would never use all of it. But there are so many absolutely fabulous ideas in there. So I'm going to share some of the ideas, and then I'm going to talk to you about the ones that we use. So some of the things you'll see in there are key quotes from the person we're reading about. The idea to set up a display corner with hobbies from that person or things from that time period or their job or whatever else might fit into that. We don't do that because my boys would destroy it just for the fun of it. So we've never done that, but I love the idea. Some chapter questions, student explorations, community links, social studies, related themes to explore, like science that would be going on or, being introduced to the world at that time, or geography, or whatever it may be that applies to the world. There's some extra books and resources, some reproducibles. There's arts and crafts ideas maybe, and then the study guide with history, geography, essay writing, creative writing, reading comprehension, public speaking, drama, art, like so much information, you guys. So one of the things that I love that we have not used yet is the creative writing ideas, and just a couple of the ideas that were on the study guide, unit study guide for this book, was to write a letter to Ronald Reagan giving him your opinion on how you thought he did as the president. Another idea was to write a persuasive speech introducing him to the public before he goes on stage to give a speech. So I thought those were fabulous ideas, and the community links is one of my very favorite, and we haven't done any of these yet, but we absolutely will because I think they're fabulous ideas that give the kids a way to take what they're learning in the book and apply it to the world that's around them, which I think is super important when we're learning stuff. It makes it more memorable and more interesting. And some of the ideas for this book were to call a local radio station and see if they could come speak to your class if you're in a co-op or something, or if you could go in and talk to them about their job and how they do it, and maybe compare what it sounds like he was doing when he was a radio announcer versus what it's like now and how it's changed. Another idea was to talk to some politicians. And the one I really loved was if there's someone that you can find that was alive in that same time period, talk to them about their concerns over the Cold War or how they felt or what was happening and what the world looked like to them during that time period. And I think that is such a great way for them to relate this story to an actual person that was going through this. So I loved that they suggested ideas like that in there. So one thing that we did when we read the Clara Barton book that we haven't done yet on this one is we got one of those trifold boards from the store, and we put a timeline across the bottom with the different events and stuff, and it helps you to find those in the back of the unit study guide. It will go through the first page. These places that he lived were announced or were mentioned. So I thought that was great. And then I just allowed my daughter to draw pictures or write, or we would print out pictures of the things that she remembered from the story that were important or she wanted to include. And I kind of let her have her just whatever she wanted to do with it just to see where she took it. She absolutely loves learning like that, so that was a great experience for her. And when we started reading this book with Ronald Reagan, it starts out with like a very dramatic scene where he was shot and they're rushing him to the hospital. And then it's just a short chapter that talks about that, and then they start from his childhood and go through the story. So that like really catches their attention, like, whoa, we got to keep reading to find out why this happened. And so when we got to the part in the story where he was shot, my daughter was like, well, that's how the story started. I remember that. I was waiting to get to this part. And then another thing that she really was surprised by was after his death, how many different places his body was taken and displayed because he was such an important figure in our country at the time. So that was like, she was like, don't people normally just have a funeral and be buried? And so she was surprised by all the things that happened to him after his death. So that was fabulous to us. And so the one part of the study guide that we use every single time we read the book is we print out the chapter questions. So there are 6 questions for each chapter. And so you will get a vocabulary word in each one, but if you want to do more vocabulary than that, there's plenty more in the study guide that you can pull up. But so one of the questions will ask about what a word means and how to use it in a sentence. And then the questions help the kids to dig a little deeper than just the story. It's not just, did you understand what happened in this story? But what do you think about it? How would you have done things differently or the same? One of those questions is, realizing that this could be the end of his life, Ron thought about all of the things he still wanted to accomplish as president. If you were in his situation, what are some things you might be thinking about? So I loved that. And my daughter's answer were my family or my goals and the things that I still want to do. So I think that is great. And one of the other questions was, Secret Service agents are responsible for protecting the president at all costs, even at the risk of their own lives. Would you be willing to serve in a role like this? Why or why not? So that was really fun to see their thoughts and opinions on a job like that. And so in every chapter, there's some questions like that, which I absolutely love. You guys have to check out the study guide before you start reading and decide how you want to use it, because there are just so many different things that you can do with this story. So check out all of the titles from the Heroes of History series. Please leave me a comment and tell me which one you are really excited to read about or who you're most excited to learn about. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when I have some new videos and reviews. And I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. If you want to see what reviewers have said about some of the other titles in the series, I will leave the comment for that and the comment or the link to go see the reviews and the link to check out the books in the comments below. So make sure you check them out, guys. Have a good day.